If you will be given a financing of $1 million, what project will you prioritize and why? It used to be that the goal of investments is for profit, that with every dollar spent, there must be a significant return on investment for the financing to be worth making. In other words, the benefits exceed the cost. Today, the principle of cost benefit analysis in deciding on a project remains the same. But now, we look at the social and environmental outcomes alongside the economic outcomes, or better known as the triple bottom line. The scale of impact is key in doing this cost benefit analysis. But apart from financial return, what do we measure, especially when it comes to intangible values of social and environmental impact? Is there a numerical way to describe the social and environmental outcomes to justify the investment?
When thinking about the triple bottom line, it's good to classify both the costs and benefits according to their individual buckets. Equally, it is important to see how each outcome are also dynamic factors that interact within a system. We're looking for a good fit between social, economic, and environmental outcomes that provide the best benefit. Another way to look at it is to view social outcomes to pertain to costs and outcomes related to the actors, the environment as the bigger setting where the actor moves, and the economy as the activity that the actor does within the environment. In this case, the key question now becomes what kind of activities should the actor engage in so that the desired social, economic, and environmental outcomes are achieved?
With these questions, our team embarked on a capstone to validate an investable business model in the context of sustainable fashion in the Philippines. The social component or the actors include home-based sewers and cooperatives with solo parents and senior citizens. What's unique with this demographic is the amount of time they can work as sewers. Traditional government garment manufacturing is full-time and requires an 8-hour setup at least 5 days a week. But people in co-op may only be able to work for 3 days and tend to other familial roles at other times. The environment is set in a highly dense city within Metro Manila. Consistent with the resource-based view of strategy, the economic activity that the people are good at is sewing. There is also a rising demand in sustainable sewn goods in this area and potential for B2C, B2B, and B2G clients. But the main challenge is that the communities are unable to get a consistent inflow of clients. The challenge now is how to find the best fit between the social, economic, and environmental factors to arrive at the following outcomes as shown in the slide. In short, it's to identify a sustainable livelihood arrangement that achieves all good outcomes without any unintended harm to the environment.
As the team was brainstorming the business model, we find that on their own, the home-based sewers and cooperatives may be able to reach both social and economic outcomes when provided the access to right markets and tools. Perhaps providing more machines and creating a market access platform would suffice. However, a closer inspection showed that the current arrangements may lead to an unintended harm, specifically an unmanaged urban migration. We know that based on urban migration models, employment opportunity is a strong driver for individuals to move from one place to another. We know how a significant increase in the population count in a specific land area can cause congestion. In terms of social outcomes, attracting more migrants to this part of the city can lead to the development of informal settlements and other consequences associated with unmanaged urbanization. In such case, the eventual cost that exceeds the benefit of starting a sustainable livelihood program. You know how this is only a model or a hypothesis, but lo and behold, when we asked one of the thriving sewing co-ops, they were considering to have new members join their co-op even if they were not originally part of that barangay. Imagine if these efforts were to scale, that may mean attracting more people to the already dense location.
The unique interplay between the social, economic, and environmental costs call for an intentional model that can minimize the cost but maximize the benefits across three spheres of the triple bottom line. The question now becomes, what arrangements can be done to create a livelihood arrangement that is scalable in terms of social impact, sustainable financially, and has little to no unintended harm to the environment. This is how the idea behind our capstone project came to be. The Sewing Lab is a market intermediary and employment business model that capitalizes on economies of scale by establishing a network of cottage businesses, which include the home-based sewers and sewing co-ops as part of the value chain. In effect, the Sewing Lab serves as an integrator and a catalyst to help with realizing industry clustering and agglomeration in the location. When the clustering and agglomeration is done right, it can have a positive effects on environmental outcomes.
Conceptually, this project provides work to the sewers, which helps achieve outcomes related to SDGs 1 and 8. Second, this organizes the role of a sewing communities in relation to other members of the ecosystem, which hits SDG 17. And third, the model also provides a positive approach towards discovering how industry practices can be reformed to care for the environment, which contributes to SDGs 11 and 12.
Market intermediaries, even in other industries, have contributed to increasing the efficiency of supply chains and improving profit margins of the members of the value chain by improving the fit between what the market demands and what the producers deliver. In the case of the fashion industry, including sustainable fashion, the demand side values variety, high quality, small batch productions that are still reasonably priced and delivered with speed. On the production side, high quality is best delivered when there is mastery of the technique. Most of the time, highly specialized sewing is priced higher, and the reason fast fashion can achieve both low price and a more consistent quality is brought about by repetitive practice over a large volume of the same clothing. Not to mention, if we are working with the sewing co-ops and home-based sewers, the time they allot for work is not the same with a full-time factory worker, which puts a concern with the capacity to master the design. With this, there is a mismatch in terms of what the market demands and what the producers can deliver.
The Sewing Lab comes in as the market intermediary to bridge the gap by capturing what the market demands into knowledge development, capability support, and information transfer to the production side. In this way, the home-based sewers and cooperatives will focus on what they do best, sew the best clothes. This model also minimizes the risk of hit or miss in terms of matching projects that the sewers can really make and deliver at a specific time. In essence, the Sewing Lab also acts as an HQ or headquarter. For instance, we receive an order of 1,000 pieces of bags. This will then be divided to an amount of X to home-based sewer A, and then X amount to co-op B, and so on and so forth. The quality is the same, but because of consistent info transfer and people are working within what they can deliver, it's a potential win-win situation for all players.
Conceptually, establishing this intermediary and employment model sounds promising, but our team has yet to study its feasibility. Is it worth investing in? With that, we'll embark on to answer two major questions. First, what kind of sewing projects should the Sewing Lab take to achieve the best combination of social, environmental, and financial returns per annum? This objective will look at the social, economic, and environmental costs of running the Sewing Lab. Specifically, for social and environmental, outcomes will be mapped up to identify suitable financial proxies. The idea is to find the setup where the benefits exceed the cost and where the unintended harms are minimized. Second, is the network of cottage-based businesses an alternative to the traditional factory setup in terms of managing social, environmental, and financial costs? The traditional setup in garment manufacturing has always been allotting a floor area to house all steps of garment production. Having a large production floor entails high fixed costs, which means that the break-even point in terms of quantity can also be high, such as in the case of fast fashion productions. In addition, large factories have also been associated with carbon emission and at times problematic working conditions. With this capstone, our team would like to discover if having a network of cottage-based businesses can capture the demand effectively while also minimizing the social, environmental, and financial costs. In a way, we are reimagining how our clothes are produced while being intentional with the triple bottom line.
So circling back to our opening question, if you will be given a financing of 1 million, what project will you prioritize and why? Our capstone team will answer this question through an exploration of a business model that considers social, economic, and environmental factors as outcomes that work together in a system. After which, there is a need to measure the social, economic, and environmental costs and benefits by looking at appropriate financial proxies. Consistent with the principles of impact first investing, intentionality is key, especially when defining what impact looks like. Lastly, is developing an investable business model based from the findings so that it becomes a vehicle for development and means to achieve the triple bottom line. And that's how we can know whether a project is worth investing in.